Hello, YouTubers. I'm Shinigami, and today we're gonna react to 5 new horror story anime Haunted Dream short animation collage of 2019. I'm gonna shorten this out because, yeah, I'm just gonna take that, take the 5 new horror story animation. So yeah, let's get in.
When I was 2 years old, my uncle committed a double murder and suicide. He was a meth head and had been taking money from my grandmother. And finally, one day, she told him no more. That just happened to be the day I was at their house. He went to his room and brought out a shotgun. He shot my grandfather in the face. My grandmother ran and grabbed me, and he shot her in the back. She dropped me and rolled over.
My neck.
He pulled out a big knife and hit her in the neck with it. He then turned his attention to me. I remember this vividly. I was crying, and he picked me up, rocked me for a minute, and sat me in my swing. He then pointed the shotgun directly at my face. All of a sudden, he just stopped, like something was fighting with him, like physically preventing him from blowing me into a million pieces. Next thing I know, the gun is in his mouth, and bang! That's all I remember. My parents never told me a single thing about it, and up until a year ago, they didn't know that I even knew about it. When I told my dad, he started crying and told me how I was just swinging in my swinger like someone were pushing me. I'd forgotten about it until I was 13, and all of a sudden I remembered.
How you remember?
Fucked with my head for a while.
Hey, now it's gonna fuck my head. Jeez Louise. Just seeing the image.
A few years ago, I attended a Christmas party. That night, my housemates went home earlier, while I decided to stay and get in the Christmas spirit with a few other friends. I ended up getting pretty hammered and got home around 3 a.m. Instead of going straight to bed, I grabbed another beer inside, then went out to the back porch to have a smoke and look at the stars. I was outside a couple of minutes when I see the light go on in the kitchen. My housemate comes out and looks at me out the back. I wave and generally look like a drunk idiot. Anyway, he just gets a glass of water and goes to bed. So, I finished my cigarette and beer and did the same. The next morning, we're rehashing the previous night when he mentions getting up and seeing me having a smoke out the back. Who came back from the party with you last night? I gave him a sideways look and replied, "No one, dude. I was out there alone." He insists, "No, man, there was someone out there with you. Behind you on the porch, when you were looking inside waving. I didn't come out because I thought it was some random friend from the Christmas party I didn't know. Couldn't be bothered making introductions. To this day, he stands by this version of events. Whoever it was must have been standing really close behind me the entire time. I saw no one and heard nothing. Gives me willies every time I think about it.
It's time to leave the house. That's what it's time to do. It's not time to think about it. It's time to leave the house. It's like, we're going somewhere. Oh. Like, no.
A few weeks ago, my girlfriend and I were sleeping together when I woke up to her saying, "What are you doing?" She sometimes talks in her sleep, but this sounded so coherent and urgent that it jolted me awake, and I asked what she was talking about. She then woke up and said she thought she saw someone at the end of the bed. Thinking it was just a dream or semi-awake hallucination, we thought nothing of it and went back to sleep.
Because goddamn ads.
About an hour later, I woke up and saw someone standing on the bed with the sheets wrapped up and twisted around their neck. I didn't know what to do, but the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "What are you doing?" My girlfriend then woke me up. I had been dreaming the exact same thing that she did, and said the exact same thing.
It's time to leave. That's what it's time to do. Both of you would listen to the same thing. Like, time to leave. Pack up.
My husband and I were on a road trip. We were coming back to Louisiana from Iowa. It was about 3 in the morning, and he woke me up to start my shift. I looked around and I didn't see another car in sight, or even a street light or building. Finally, we come across a small, local gas station with a single light on. It was closed, and our car was the only one there. We pull over, and as I'm getting ready to open my car door and switch places with my husband, he tells me to hold on. I look up, and from behind the back of the gas station, a man wearing rags was shambling towards us, quickly. I told my husband to hurry and drive away. However, he was intrigued. He just stared ahead as the guy was getting closer and closer. I started freaking out and screaming for him to go until he did. As he drove away, I looked behind us until the gas station disappeared. As far as I could see, the man was following the car at the same odd pace. Gives me chills. Big time.
Nah. It's time to call the police.
I used to work at Phillips, up near Sleepy Hollow in New York. At my lunch breaks, I like to wander through the forest on the work property.
Continue.
One beautiful October day, I was admiring the autumn leaves when I saw a buck standing in front of me. There's a word, numinous, for a feeling in the presence of something spiritual, something unworldly. That's how I felt.
Yes, I read about that.
I quietly and carefully stepped closer to get a better view. I was able to approach quite close, almost close enough to touch him. At that moment, though, the deer turned, and I felt all the hairs on my arms rise. The deer's eyes were red and dripping with blood. It must have been some kind of disease that had blinded it, and the blindness allowed me to get so close. In the moment, though, it was terrifying and uncanny.
Like, really run. Leave. Scram. Like, those kind of hard things, yo. The best thing to do is leave. Run. Call the police. Never return to that turn. Don't even think about it. Even if you think about it, go to therapy. Go to the psychiatrist. Get rid of what's in your mind. Because we all know that's not good at all. That is not good at all. I don't like that at all. You know, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. So guys, if you like it, slap that like button. Comment down below what to watch or play. I'm probably gonna play a game next. I don't know. That's how I feel. Like, this channel is how I feel. Like, I want to post today or not. Either way. But you enjoyed this, slap that like button. Comment down below. Hit that bell. And see you in the next video, boys. Yeet.